Hello, AP GeoHuman students. Welcome to Prep Week. We are so excited that you are joining us today. For those of you that are new, welcome. Those of you that have heard all my corny jokes, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I'm going to switch my screen over to what we're going to be focusing on today and kind of explain how the week is going to work. So clearly you are in the right place if you're seeing AP Human Geography. For those of you that know me, I am Mrs. Kristen Brandt. I teach at Glenbard West High School in Glen Ellen, Illinois. And I think we might even have some of my students joining in. I know we've got some joining in from some of my other teachers' classes as well. So welcome. But part of what we're doing right now is we really want to give you that experience, that prep experience. And there's a lot of anxiety for those of you that this is new. And so hang in there. Over the next 5 days, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know and you're going to have it. And so may the 4th be with you. Come on, you knew I had to do it, those of you that have been with me. So just a quick overview. So today is an opportunity to practice for the 2020 AP Human Geography exam. And I know I'm reading this to you because I just think there's some really key things in here we need to cover. We're going to complete 2 questions that are representative of the task that you're going to see next Tuesday. And we're going to use the actual timing that are allotted for the actual exam. But we do need you to know that these questions are designed to be similar in structure and format that you're going to see, but they're not intended to be representative of the content that will be assessed. Okay, so don't think that this is some like secret way of getting you to know where we're going. It's to understand the process and the types of questions and the timing of this exam. So a couple things before we get started here. First, breathe, okay? You've got this. You're gonna want something that you can write with or write on. And so I would recommend if you're gonna be typing your responses that right now we are typing them. You can go, if you look in the exam description down, there's a tiny URL, not exam description, sorry, in this YouTube description, the tiny URL will take you to our 2 questions. So you could make a copy of it and type right into Google. You are welcome to I know my students really like their Notability, so if you wanted to download it as a PDF, those are all options. But here's what we say is we really want to make sure you're using one of these 4 browsers. And so just getting in the habit of that. And I do want to keep talking about that you're reviewing the exam security guidelines and understanding the consequences for incorporating work that is not your own or collaborating with anyone during the exam. Okay, and so really we're saying it's fine if you probably have your textbook or your actual notes next to you. You're not going to have it. You're going to see today, you're not going to have much time to look for anything. What we're telling you, practice, breathe, and tell us what you know. You've got this. So without further ado, we are going to jump right into question 1. So what we're going to do, and I'm pausing a little bit and stalling a little bit. So if you wanted to go to the tiny URL and get the question, I am going to display it here on the screen as well, but it's going to be a little bit tiny, hard to see. And so if you're just trying to look at this, it might be a little bit complicated, but you're welcome to do that. That being said, what's going to happen is you're going to be given 30 minutes to not only write, but also to upload. So what we're going to do here in a little bit, I'm going to actually put the question up there and you're going to see the prompts and we're going to let the timer run. And I'm going to turn I'm going to be quiet so that all you're doing is you're focusing on writing. At 25 minutes, I am going to stop you. Okay. Those last 5 minutes are intended for you to upload your materials to the College Board. And we'll talk about where and how to upload those at the end of this. So this first part is just practicing the timing. You're going to be great. I know that you can do this. Okay, so I need you to breathe. Okay, I want you to read all of the prompts. Okay, there's many different parts to it, but as soon as I put it all up here, I'm going to start the timer because that's when your time starts. The time starts when you start reading it, not when you start writing. Okay, so if I'm going too fast, you haven't pulled everything up, I think I've stalled enough, feel free to pause me. You can come back in, but you're going to see the timer up in this corner starting to count down. Okay, so are we ready? Read all of the parts. Make sure you're labeling your parts, answer in complete sentences, tell us everything you know. You've got this. So here's the prompts and the timer will begin now. I'm going to ask you all to stop writing. I would highly recommend either draw a line where you went to or make a note. It's okay if you didn't answer every single part of this prompt. You want to give us your best answers. Don't panic. You can still earn a 5 if you answer only 4 of them really, really well out of these 5 is what we were being told. But I am going to ask you to pause. Okay, so nice job. We're going to shift to our second question. Now you're going to notice that this one has only 20 minutes, 15 minutes to write. I'm pausing again so that you can get into this tiny URL. Same thing, we're going to put the question and prompt up on the screen. If you can see it, great, go ahead and just write from there. If not, feel free to work off of the copy or what you pull up on that tiny URL. That being said, you're not going to get a ton of extra time here. So it's not like you're going to have, okay, I've got 30 minutes, I've got 25 minutes to write, 5 minutes to upload, and then I'm just going to take a break and I'll come back to this. You don't. The time's going to continue. So you want to make sure you take that 5 minutes, you upload, breathe, and then we're going to get back into it. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing right here so that you can feel what that's like. Okay. In fact, on this next one, I'm going to actually at the end of it, let those 5 minutes play out so that you can feel those 5 minutes. I just want to make sure we have time at the end to do a few other things and so that we can practice a couple other ideas as well. So remember, I'm going to put the questions up on the screen and then I'm going to start the timer and we'll go from there. So deep breath. Okay, one last prompt. Okay, remember 15 minutes to write and then 5 minutes to upload. And I'm going to talk about that upload in a little bit. So I just want you to not panic and do the best that you can. And here we go. Please stop writing or typing. You have now had 15 minutes to work on the sample question 2. So as you notice the clock has turned red, you're going to see some of that on your screen or your device when you're working on your actual FRQ. The difference is no one's going to say, please stop working. So that is something that you're going to have to make sure you're paying attention to. So hopefully today that's giving you a little bit of feel of that timing. And then tomorrow, we're going to go over the rubric, but on Wednesday, we're going to do this again. So Miss Lindsley's going to walk you through it and you can feel it. But as I've been talking, we haven't even spent a minute yet. And this is when the time you'd be using to upload. So just so you know, I set a timer on my phone at 5 minutes. And so we're going to go through the next few slides about what you should be uploading or how to upload. And I'll let you know when that 5 minutes are up, because 5 minutes sounds like hardly any time. And so some of you might have some anxiety, but the reality is 5 minutes is quite a bit of time. So let's just breathe. We've already just spent a minute. And let's take a look at some options you have. So option 1 is a copy and paste. So you type a response and then click submit. Okay, so if you have a laptop or a desktop computer, you can use Google Docs, Word, Notes, something. You're going to type your Apple ID. What is wrong with me? Your AP ID and initials at the top of the response. Okay, I would look in AP Classroom to figure out your ID. When the timer has 5 minutes remaining, copy and paste and submit that into the space indicated, and you're going to click submit. And so we've talked already about which browsers you should use. It's going to and then it's going to appear after you click on your e-ticket. Okay, so that's the exam day setup. So that's one option. Just so you know, we still have 3 minutes, and I just did a lot of talking. Option 2, you can attach a document and then click submit. So the first one's a copy and paste. This one we can attach. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to type your response in Google Docs, Word, Notes. Don't include any images. Save your work often. Okay, and then you want to save it to one of those acceptable formats. I'm not going to lie, I tend to be a PDF person because anytime I try to upload stuff, PDF tends to just preserves it just a little bit better. Again, you're going to type your AP ID, I almost said it again, and initials at the top of each response. Okay, when the timer has 5 minutes remaining, then you can attach it and you can hit submit. Okay, so if we have 2 questions, you're going to create and save and attach 2 times. Okay, so we do have 2 questions, so you have to do this process twice. So just so you know, we still have 2.5 minutes, and I haven't even gone through the third option yet. Option 3 then is if I was going to handwrite. So while you guys were just taking your test, I was working on some thank you notes. I'm a department chair, and I'm going to send each of my teachers a thank you note because it is Teacher Appreciation Week. My hand got pretty sore. To be honest, if I could type, it'd be a lot quicker, and I would have been, I'd probably be done with all 20 of my teachers. Right now, I'm only done with half of them. But again, this time you're going to write your AP ID, initials, and page number at the top of each page. You're going to write your response clearly. And I just have to be honest with you, as someone who grades student answers, you got to work on the penmanship, guys, okay? We're going to do our best to try and decipher your penmanship, but you have to remember it's not your teacher grading it, so they don't know you in some of the ways that you write. So this time when there's 5 minutes remaining, you're going to take a photo of your response, okay? And so make sure it's vertical, not landscape. So take a picture of whatever you just wrote. 1 page per photo. If it's longer than a page, you're going to have to attach multiple pages, max of 5, before clicking submit. And so here's acceptable formats, okay? So you're paying your JPEG. We still have a minute left, and I've talked about all 3 options for you. And I even talked a little bit about what I was doing. So 5 minutes is quite a long time for you to do this, okay? Feeling a little better? Hopefully you are. Then what you're going to do, okay, so you're going to see some images here. So it's a 2-step process. So we're going to attach or paste our response and click submit. So all 4 of these bullets are pretty important. Just so you know, my timer has not gone off yet. If you don't click submit before the timer runs out, your response isn't going to count. It is essential that you click submit, even if you put it up there or you've copy and pasted, you've got to click submit. We still have 34 seconds. Once you click submit, your response may continue to transfer depending on your bandwidth. This is fine. You'll be able to move on to the next question even while your first question continues to transfer, so long as you click submit before the time ran out. So we have 15 seconds left. So I do want to talk about these other 2 questions or other 2 bullets, but I'm just going to wait just so that you can feel those 5 minutes. So we've got 5 seconds. Can you hear my? Probably not. It's really quiet. But my point is that now I got to stop it. My point is that 5 minutes is quite a bit. So remember, you're going to have 5 minutes after the first one. Write for 25 minutes. The timer is going to turn red, then submit. Don't keep writing. Finish and get it uploaded, okay? And the same thing here. Timer's going to say 20 minutes. You've got 15 to write and 5 to upload. Take that 5 minutes. It also gives you time to breathe. So here's the deal. Let's look at these last two. If your response continues to transfer after the exam ends, wait for an on-screen message that's confirming your exam is complete. Make sure your submissions have fully loaded before you close your browser or turn off or restart your computer. If you never see that your AP exam is complete, then you need to go to this link here, and it'll show up, and I'm going to show you a link page here in just a second to explain the situation and request an e-ticket for the June makeup date. We highly recommend that you take these tests next week on May 12th, because what we want to make sure is if anything does go wrong, that you're eligible for that June makeup date. And so that is why it's so important that you join us next Tuesday. So things that I'm asking my students to do between now and Thursday is really to practice the upload. So you can go to this cb.org/AP demo. And what you can do is you can actually, it's going to confirm that your device and your browser are going to be able to access the exam. You're going to be able to practice an upload so that you can walk through it and see what it's like. You also need to locate that 8-character AP ID. If you're really struggling, there is an AP coordinator in your building that should be able to help you. I do not have any magic powers or access to be able to help you, but someone in your building or district should be able to help you. But get into AP Classroom, that you're going to be able to find it there. And then save the date for Tuesday, May 12th. So you do need to check the time zones because these tests actually are all starting at the same time. Across the country. So they're going to be starting. So we've got, depending on where you live, that's going to dictate, in which time zone you're in is going to dictate what time your test starts. And so that's why I'm not publicizing which time. So it's really important that you take a look at that. This is a great slide to gives a ton of different resources. And I'm going to share this again tomorrow when we go through the rubric. And so you can see the demo site, you can see the required docs. I'm going to really do some screenshots and spend some time with you tomorrow on the AP exam day checklist, because I think that checklist is pretty handy. But if you wanted to play with it beforehand, the other one that is recently come out that I would totally highlight is number 6, the 5 steps before exam day video. So if you got your phone with you and you wanted to just take a picture of this, that would be handy, or if you need to replay it later and come back to it. Some of these are also located in our course description, our YouTube description as well. But I would say that 5 steps really kind of helps to focus what you need to be doing right now too. But you've taken the first big step, and that first big step was practicing today and really spending time writing. So tonight, reward yourself, or before we go through the rubric, take a break, let the brain just kind of breathe. And then tomorrow, we're going to take a look at potential answers to those questions and ways that we could have tackled it. And then we'll also look at that checklist. You did great. I'm so proud of you. I know that that's a lot of typing and writing and thinking, but you're doing the right thing. So thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to talking to all of you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.